Hey, how's it all going, guys? I thought I'd come to you and I'll address the scenario of Sam Mario. I'll do it as quick as possible and tell you the backdrop of everything that went down. All right, so Sam Mario gets a job on a crane, operating a crane and that. The person who gets in the job, surprisingly this will be to some, is the attacker, my cousin Sammy. He's known as Federal Bullies. So Federal Bullies and him were friends at a point. Gets him a job because Sam Mario couldn't get a job nowhere because he's just an idiot. He didn't know how to hold himself, doesn't know how to conduct himself, and couldn't score a job if his life was dependent on it. So my cousin reaches out to the builders he knows, gets him on the site. Fast forward a little bit, Sam Mario and him get into a dispute over something. I don't know the full story about that. I've heard conflicting stuff about that, so I don't want to get onto something I'm not too sure about. But they have words. Sam Mario challenges my cousin. Sam Mario forgets my cousin is the one who gave him the job and forgets that my cousin is a professional boxer. Sam Mario gets the phone courage. That's what I call it, phone courage, to start carrying on a phone, because it's easy to yell and scream on a phone. Anyhow, my cousin rocks up to the job site. He knew what time it was finishing because, as I said, he gave him the job there. And my two cousins there, one's recording, and Sam pounces into action and absolutely annihilates this bloke. He's also in the video. The video speaks for itself. And you've seen him shitting himself, urinating, everything. But this is what I want to point out. Sam Mario, for whatever reason this may be, I don't know if he thinks this makes a difference on when he pooed his pants, but he seems to want to point out that he pooed his pants 29 minutes after the altercation. Whether it was 29 minutes after or 29 minutes prior, you shit your pants, brother. You pooed your pants, you urinated, you cried out for help. You then, listen, this is where it gets interesting. You've cried out for help, you've tried to run, you've been grabbed, you've cried out for help, you've pooed your pants, you've urinated, you've screamed your lungs out for every mankind to come out and help you. And then, after you get belted to a pulp, my cousin absolutely, he read you your rights that day, literally. You were served a beating well deserved, and the whole world's seen it. So my cousin meets belted him, realizes there's a shit smell coming. This is not me being smart. I'm telling you, I swear to God, on my mother's grave, this is factual. You know I'm not lying because you've all seen the videos of him going into the lady's house of shit everywhere. You've seen the police videos of the police coming when the lady called the police because she said, there's feces in my house. You've seen him crying his eyes out. You've heard him say it. All the scenario I'm telling you, it's fucking factual. Senior. My cousin senses he shit his pants because he can smell it. So after he's given it to him, he's thrown him away. And you can zoom in on the photo of the video, just take a screenshot, and you'll see the feces coming through his pants as he's tumbling away. Sam Mario, therefore, proceeds to go into a lady's house and call for help, and this is all documented. The lady is later on in the brief, and everything got released to the public. I'm not sure how. I'm not sure who released it, but it was all released to the public forum of TikTok. And this is how everything become aware of the actual factual stuff that's happened. You can see the lady in the interview stating how he's put feces all over her house. She takes the police to where the feces were. The police starts almost throwing up when he smells it. Anyway, Sam Mario, only God knows why he did this, but drives for 29 minutes or 30 minutes approximately, going off what he says. Pulls over on the motorway because he thought he was dying and flicked the switch in the Mercedes for help. That wasn't enough for him. I kid you not. You all know this is factual because his whole hand almost got blown off, and he admits it's from letting off a flare, and he found it funny. He's on a freeway. He lets off a flare. And keep in mind, this is all because of a fist fight. This has resulted now, a flare being let off in the air, letting off his emergency button in his car as if it was an accident happened. Fast forward. Police arrive, everything's video recorded, him crying his heart out. Crying so much that, as you all know, that's who's watched the videos, the ambulance said to him, stop crying, mate, and shut up and let us see what's wrong with you. Another lady comes over, an ambulance lady, and says, mate, relax, you haven't been stabbed, you haven't been shot. You just relax, mate. Even the lady's saying relax. Anyway, This guy gets absolutely annihilated. He then snitches. So listen, he's urinated, feces, called the police, let off a flare, let off the panic button in the car. Snitched. Then he changed religions. I'll get to that in a sec. So anyway, my cousins get charged because this bloke charges them. He also went to court and gave a victim impact statement because my cousin pled guilty. So Mario never had to, in the end, take the stand because my cousin pled guilty to the statement that Mario made. And the statement is on video of him doing it in the hospital. It's been released on the TikTok forum, but I don't know who. Someone's released it all. So you know I'm talking factual stuff. Okay. Then Sam Mario tells everyone that he was jumped by my cousins and all this. Okay, if you were jumped, right? Because I don't know, I wasn't there. So I'm a person that's going to speak factual. You bumped into Semi, Federal Bullies, on his own. You pulled your phone out and went live on your TikTok or you started recording. I don't know how the public see this video, but it comes from your phone. Because you're the one holding the phone, you're the one talking over the phone. My cousin is alone. My cousin walks up to you and says, let's go. You walk back and say, there's an AVO between us. What are you doing? My cousin hasn't put an AVO on you. You've put the AVO on my cousin. So you were in the clear to fight my cousin. My cousin would have got in trouble because he's the one who had the AVO on him. But instead, if you said you got jumped that day and you want redemption, you seen him in Castle Hill on camera. Why didn't you? You pulled your camera, you started recording. My cousin walked up to you and said, let's go. Why didn't you go toe-to-toe with him? That proves that you're a coward. You all talk, everything you say is rubbish. You've seen the guy after the fight. You've healed, you've recovered, you've been training. You had no excuse. You were both front on. There was no dog shots like you say. There was no cover behind you. Front on. You could have just smacked it out, but you didn't. Okay. Then, you did something that I never thought even a low life like you would do. I knew you were lowest of the barrel. Brother, I got jumped by a group of bikies. I never cried. I never said help. I never said nothing. I was ambushed. I was outnumbered 5-1. There was 10 there, but 5 jumped on me. And it was all on camera as well. These cunts recorded it. They ended up getting the better of me, but I didn't cry. I didn't run. I didn't say help. I didn't shit my pants. I didn't snitch. I didn't do nothing. I was ambushed. Right. Finished. Say later. So that's how I conducted myself when I got ambushed. You were just with Semi. Could have just had a toe-to-toe scrap. But you decided to try to run and then you tripped over. Then my cousin caught up with you and annihilated you. Then my cousin sees you again in Castle Hill. You called the police to get his AVO breached that day. My cousin spent 2 nights in the cell. So that's that. Fast forward now to you becoming a Christian. And I think at this point, I don't even know if you're Christian anymore because I see you attacking the Christian faith now. So I don't know. You're Christian still? I don't know what's going on with that. But I want this message to go out to everyone to understand this. This guy become a Christian to deflect the pooing videos. I've got chocolate on my hand. It's really got chocolate on my fingers. On the chocolate. I thought I washed my hands. Anyway. Yes, I had a cake. I'm on a diet. I shouldn't be eating a chocolate cake, I know. But, and I had a quick cake to make this video. But I've got to go wash my hands in a sec. But listen. You done the conversion and you got baptized and all that to deflect the pooing videos and the stitching videos because that's the type of person you are. You would rather sell out your religion in order to cover those videos up so people stop talking about those videos. But in the end, it backfired on you because you end up turning on the Christian faith and turning on the preacher and went down a road and you say you turned on that preacher because that preacher ripped up the Quran. That scumbag preacher is the worst of mankind, even worse than you. And it's hard to be worse than you. And this guy's worse than you. This preacher that ripped the Quran, stuff like that. You were fine with that preacher when he was talking about Sayyidina Muhammad, peace be upon him, calling him all sorts of names. You had 10 Christians in your video, in your live, all knocking Islam. He had already ripped the Quran at another time we went live with him, you had no issue with him. The only time you had an issue with all this is when Christians started calling you on why are you going to the church and challenging the Muslims to come to the church. And then it became a problem for you that the Christians were turning on you and weren't backing you up. And you announced on your social media to meet at a car park and you called for all Christian community to come and support you. And they didn't because they knew what you were trying to do and you were trying to divide the Christians and Muslims. Then you turned on the Christians. I don't know if you're still a Christian or not, but I highly doubt you are. And I highly doubt you ever were a Christian because I don't know who changes religions that quick, then turns on that religion after things don't go his way. You are a despicable human being. You're the lowest of the lowest, and you are a man with no backbone. You have done everything in life that there is no coming back from. You changed your religion. You also went against Islam publicly and mocked our Prophet, peace be upon him. You spoke ill of the kids of Gaza and you said you don't care about you couldn't give a shit about the kids in Gaza. You couldn't give a shit about the kids in Gaza, astaghfirullah azim. And you were saying that they deserve it. You therefore went into your comments on people commenting and again addressed your opinion on it. You had no remorse. You done it again. After you said sorry, you went back in on your comments, made a worse comment than what you did on the video about the Gaza children. Let me go over this. You changed religions. You snitched. That is the worst you can do in the criminal world. There's nothing worse than the criminal world. You cried. You tried to run for your life. You yelled at help. The whole mankind heard you. You shit in your pants, literally. You urinated. You cried for an hour. And now you're on social media, still talking tough. I will never address you again. This is the only time I'm going to address this because I'm sick of going back and forward with you on TikTok and on Instagram. When you don't mention my name, no one tunes into you because they watch you, they realize you're boring and they tune out. You've realized that and now you keep going on about videos about me and bagging me out and talking about me. I've told you 50 times. You know where I live. You've gone to other people's houses and before you say, oh, but you know where I live as well, why don't you come to my house? I don't go to people's houses, brother. You, on the other hand, you went to Dr. Majnoon's house on camera and you went to Tim Starr's house on camera. And now I want to know why when you come to my house on camera or come to Sam Federbully's house on camera. You know where they live as well because they live around the corner from your mums. That's that. You talk tough. And also, you challenged all the boys to come to the fitness first. And I'll tell you how you know you called the police. I want to prove this. First of all, you made a video saying you knew there was a paddy wagon at the gym before you rocked up. And when you rocked up and seen that there was 10 police, not just a paddy wagon, you were shocked. So you went there knowing that there was no fight because there was police already there. Who knows how they got tipped off? Maybe it was you, maybe it was your family, maybe it was social media. I don't know. I want to ask you this question. You say you're tough, right? You say you're this big bad guy, right? But why won't you come face us? Why? Why? You sit here every day talking how bravo you are. After all this has happened to you, you still talk tough. After I couldn't imagine what your mother thinks of you and your father thinks of you and your sister thinks of you and your brother thinks of you. And I'll point this out now. I don't talk about people's mums and dads and brothers and sisters badly. I just don't do that. Even with you, I don't talk about them because they've got nothing to do with this. They really have nothing to do with this. That's why I don't address them in anything and I don't talk bad about them and I don't swear about them because I've got no need to because they've got nothing to do with this. It's you that the problem's with. Only you, Mario. And I want to tell you now, I hope you understand these words. When you see me somewhere, and if I don't see you, make sure you make yourself noticed and let me see you. and we'll then in person address it and we'll see how it pans out. How does that sound? Stop your talking, stop your whinging, stop your whining. I am in the area every day. I live in the area. I go to the shops. I go get haircuts in the area. I eat in the area. I'm around always. I have distinctive cars and bikes. I'm parked everywhere always. I know you've seen me somewhere, but you haven't approached. I know for a factual, you've driven somewhere and you've passed, oh, there he is. Because I don't hide, bro. But I say this to you now. No matter what pans out in your life, you're a coward. You go to the hairdresser carrying a baseball bat on your shoulder and you walk into a hairdressing salon in Guildford. Or it could be Smithfield. How I know this? I tell you how I know this. Because there was a girl sitting there eating and she seen you walk out of your car with a baseball bat. And then I went to that hair salon. And I spoke to the guy there and I said, "Does Sam Mario come here?" He said, "I don't know, bro. I don't get involved in this." I said, "Did a guy come here with a baseball bat?" He goes, "Yeah, there is a customer who comes here with a baseball bat." He goes, "I won't lie." I said, "No worries, bro." He goes, "Why do you ask?" I said, "I don't know. I just wanted to make sure that the video wasn't edited or like made up, or I wanted to check. Could be fabricated, could be, who knows what people do with videos, how they do things these days. I don't know, to be honest with you." Adrian said, "No, he does. He comes with a baseball bat." So that proves you knew there was police. You knew there was police at the Fitness First because you went in there unarmed with nothing. And you're not a brave person, Mario. We all know that. You walked in there comfortably on your own, unarmed. If you won't even go and get a haircut without carrying a baseball bat on your shoulder, you would not go to a battle if you thought there was going to be a battle. You said from your own mouth, you're aware there was police, a paddy wagon there, but you weren't sure there was that many police there. So stop talking, bravo. You're a disgrace to yourself. You're a disgrace to the Turkish community. I feel sorry for them to have a person like you from their culture, because the Turks are normally staunch. And I know a lot of staunch Turks, so I hope the world doesn't base you as a Turk amongst the rest, because it'd be a shame. The Turkish is a warrior nationality. Turks are fearsome people. They go to battle hard, not like you, a coward, a disgrace, a man who shit in his pants over a punch-up, a man who cried over a punch-up, a man who sold his religion over a punch-up, a man who still gets on live and says he's a warrior. He gets on live and says he knows how to handle himself. How do you know how to handle yourself if this is how you've conducted yourself? How? How do you look in the mirror, let alone go live? How do you hold a lady's hand and walk in the street when she knows if you couldn't handle one guy, you cowered on the floor and you cried out for help, mankind couldn't help you? You shit your pants. How are you going to protect your girl? At least if you copped the beating and didn't scream and didn't shit your pants and whatever things happen, you lose, you don't win every fight. You get hit from the side or whatever it was you say it was. That life happens. Not everyone's Rambo. But the way you conducted yourself in the attack shows what you are. The lowest of the lowest form of mankind. The weakest form of mankind. And I tell you now this. Stop talking tough and stop taking off your shirt and flexing and stop saying on live you've been training for 2 years and you're a different man now. First of all, when you got bashed, you were at your biggest form. You were training. Waste does not make you a better fighter, my friend. If anything, it slows you down. And the way you were punching that boxing bag, whoever your instructor is needs to be sacked and never hold a degree in boxing again, because you box like a cheerleader. You are not a violent person, nor are you a staunch person, nor are you a fearsome man. So stop bridging up and carrying on the way you're carrying on with all of Sydney, because we all know you're the boy who pooed his pants and cried after one fight. And you snitched and you sold out your religion. And you, listen to me, my head could be on the gallows and I would never sell my religion out no matter what. I got jumped by 5 guys, not like you we only see on the video one guy pumping you. So I don't know if you got jumped or not. You say you got jumped by my cousin and Sammy. My cousin swears on everything was one-on-one. But who knows? But let's just go off what you're saying. Two guys jump you, look at where you conduct yourself. I got jumped by a gang. Yeah, I lost the fight that day. Yeah, I was outnumbered. Yeah, I covered up and got jumped. What can I do? But I didn't conduct myself the way you did. I didn't go later on because my ego was hurt a little bit. And I never went and changed religions based on, because that day Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wasn't there for me. But everything happens for a reason. Maybe I got jumped that day. Maybe something I've done in my life. I have not lived a good life for the last 40 years. You know, I've done a lot of wrong in my life. Maybe this how I look at it. The difference between me and you is I took that as, all right, when I see them next time, hopefully I got 2-3 guys with me, I'll even it up. Or if I see them on their own and we have a crack one-on-one fair fight, we square it up. But I don't go on crying, snitching, changing religions. And brother, you're a disgrace to manhood. This is the only time I'm going to address this. And no matter what you say moving forward, I'm going to ignore it. But if we ever see each other in person, we will then address the situation between us. And as I say, I'm not a man that picks on the weak. If I see you in person and you drop your towel between your legs and you say, please, bro, don't do this, I will spare you. But if you do want to go on with it, I'm a willing participant. You know that. I'll be open in my arms to you and greeting you the way you'll be greeted and dealt with. And whoever wins on that day, I don't care. I don't care, win or lose. I will not back down to anything. That's just the way life is. I will never run from no one, and especially a coward like you. So I say that to you. Your responses from here on are no longer coming from me on social media because you're loving this attention you're getting. You're a nobody. You've always been a nobody. You've never been a somebody. So you're loving this, you know. I'm not going to fall into this trap anymore of giving you any more clout. This is the only video I'm going to do addressing you. No matter what you say moving forward, as I said, I'm going to ignore it. But when the day comes, we cross paths. Then and there, we will see if you are about what you say. You've made a lot of threats, brother. You said you're going to do this when you see me. You're going to do that on your live. You're going to end me. You're going to do this. I'm waiting to bump into you and let's see your bravado, how bravado you are. As I said, Mario, I know you're a coward. On the day I cross paths with you, when you do put your tail between your legs, I'm going to spare you and I'm going to record it. And I'm going to hold the phone like that and I'm going to say, I spared this coward because he's a coward. He doesn't want to fight. He's a woman. He's a woman in men's body. This guy's not a man. This guy's a woman. So for the sake of the woman out there, I spare him. Because that's how it's going to pan out. Because you haven't got an ounce in you that's got go on him. I tell you how I know. You've seen Sammy at Castle Hill, and instead of attacking him, you called the police and breached his AVO for walking up to you and offering you out again. That's who you are, Sam Mario. You're a dog. You're a snitch. You're a carefed. And you're a disgrace to anything a man stands for. So never go on your live again and say, you're a Sydney boy, you know how to handle yourself. Don't refer yourself to as a Sydney boy because you ain't a Sydney boy. Because us Sydney boys don't conduct ourselves like that. That's a fact. So I'll leave this at that. And guys, I hope you all are doing well. I love you all. And we'll leave it at that. Until my next video, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.